A barrel of unknown chemical material accidentally tipped over, spilling its contents on the ground. The workers, looking nervous and covering their noses and mouths, glanced around to make sure no one was watching. Afraid of facing the consequences, they didn't clean up the mess and simply put the lid back on the barrel before loading it onto the truck and leaving the site. Not long after, a stray dog that hadn't eaten for days wandered over and started licking the spilled chemicals. A security guard saw this and quickly shooed the dog away. However, the dog, now having ingested the chemicals, had transformed into a zombie dog and held a grudge. It waited until the guard was off duty and on his way home, then attacked him viciously. When the guard got home, he began eating ravenously while his wife nagged him incessantly, oblivious to the impending danger. Suddenly, the guard's eyes turned white and filled with rage as he lunged at his wife, biting her savagely. Their daughter rushed to intervene, managing to knock her father into the kitchen and quickly locking the steel door. But the transformed guard, now a zombie, was incredibly strong and kept pounding on the steel door. The girl hurriedly barricaded the door with a table and tried to call for help, only to see her mother also transforming into a zombie and attacking her. The guard then broke through the door, and both parents launched a combined assault on their daughter. Desperate, the girl jumped out of the window to escape, but she had already been infected. 3 men in the woods spotted a panicked girl running away. An evil thought crossed their minds, but before they could act, the mutated girl bit all of them, infecting them. Thus, overnight, the virus spread across the entire town. Karthik woke up to find his sister missing. He quickly got dressed and headed out to search for her. Stepping outside, he was stunned by the sight before him. The town looked like a war zone. As he stood there in shock, a zombie suddenly leaped onto his back, biting him furiously. Fortunately, Karthik reacted quickly and managed to fling it off. The zombie, however, felt no pain and was incredibly strong. Karthik picked up a wooden plank from the ground and, with all his might, struck the zombie, sending it flying over the fence. To find his missing sister, Karthik drove into town, only to find the situation even more dire. Zombies roamed the streets, and people were looting stores for supplies. The military had blocked all roads to prevent the virus from spreading further. Karthik met up with a friend, and they started putting up missing person posters around the streets. Suddenly, he received a call from someone claiming to know his sister's whereabouts, but the condition was that he had to help them escape the town. Without hesitation, Karthik agreed. They arrived at the designated location and saw a group of doctors studying the zombies. The lead doctor, Renuka, was the daughter of a high-ranking official, and it was she who had made the call. She revealed that Karthik had unknowingly offended her father, the minister, who then had his sister kidnapped as retaliation. Renuka explained that they had discovered a way to combat the virus, but due to the lack of advanced medical equipment in the town, they needed Karthik to take them to a city lab to develop the cure. Under Renuka's guidance, Karthik reached the minister's house. The minister was hiding in a cupboard, trembling with fear. Karthik's sister was in the backyard pool, surrounded by a few zombies. Luckily, Indian zombies can't swim. They managed to deal with the zombies and rescue his sister. Karthik kept his promise and prepared to leave with them. Using his political clout, the minister successfully got them past the military checkpoint. That evening, the driver suddenly slammed on the brakes. The minister, thinking they had reached the city, eagerly got out to flaunt his power. To his horror, they were met by a horde of zombies. In the chaos, a fleeing bystander pulled down the minister's pants. Embarrassed, he scrambled back into the car, but the zombies quickly surrounded it. Karthik jumped into the driver's seat and floored the gas pedal, plowing through the streets with zombies clinging to the car like sticky glue. But Karthik remained unfazed. With a masterful drift, he spun the car around 49 times, and with his incredible shooting skills, he took out most of the zombies. A few persistent zombies still clung on, but Karthik coolly drove into a factory, aimed for a tiny exit, and gunned it, finally shaking off the last of them. The city center, however, was already overrun, and the streets were in ruins. They had no choice but to continue on foot. The minister, spotting a pair of pants hanging out to dry, dashed over to grab them. Just as he put them on, a zombie appeared behind him. Karthik took it out with one shot, but the gunfire attracted even more zombies, all converging on their location. Karthik led them to a nearby building, squeezed through a narrow steel door, and managed to barricade the zombies outside. They made their way to the rooftop, where they saw their destination, the hospital, just across the way. When Renuka approached the edge of the rooftop, the sight before her left her stunned. The only path to the hospital was swarming with zombies, ravenously attacking each other. Getting through seemed impossible. With the above-ground route blocked, they decided to go underground. They entered the parking garage, which was eerily quiet with flickering lights. Suddenly, a drop of blood fell on Karthik's hand. Realizing something was wrong, he looked up to see a zombie dropping down from above, pinning him to the ground. Fortunately, Karthik managed to shoot it before being bitten. They continued cautiously, and soon a gunshot rang out. It was a timid security guard, who was quickly overpowered by Karthik. The guard thought they were robbers and was completely unaware of the situation outside. Skeptical of the zombie threat, he opened the steel door, only to be paralyzed with fear as he witnessed the horror beyond. An unidentified liquid pooled beneath him. Now convinced of the zombie outbreak, the guard delivered unfortunate news. The only way to the hospital was through that heavily infested path. Fortunately, the mall was well stocked with supplies, and everyone was busy gathering what they needed, unaware that one of the doctors had already been infected. By the time Karthik realized it, it was too late. He watched in horror as his sister was bitten. Enraged, Karthik punched the zombie, sending it flying several meters before shooting it dead. Renuka quickly drew a blood sample from his sister and analyzed it, discovering to her amazement that the virus in her blood was weakening. This meant she had antibodies, which could save the entire nation of India. They had to get her to the hospital across the street to develop an antivirus vaccine. Karthik remembered that zombies were afraid of water, giving them an idea. Fortunately, the mall had a fire truck. He turned on the valves and grabbed the high-pressure hose, charging out to clear a path. The plan worked. The zombies scattered, retreating from the water. However, the range was limited, and Karthik could only escort one person at a time. He made several trips back and forth, safely transporting everyone. In a critical moment, the fire truck ran out of water, leaving Renuka trapped inside the mall. It's time to enter God mode. Karthik leapt down, powerful impact scattering the zombies around the car. He wielded dual pistols, sweeping through the horde with a flurry of bullets. Then, with a mighty leap, he plunged into the swarm. In that moment, Karthik was like a god descended to earth. When his bullets ran out, he fought hand to hand, carving a path through the zombies with sheer force. Despite his incredible prowess, a zombie managed to bite his arm. Unfazed, Karthik was determined to get Renuka to safety before he turned into a zombie. Just then, 2 more zombies appeared inside the mall. Karthik's eyes glinted with lethal intent as he swiftly dispatched them. He grabbed a hammer from the ground, kicked open the steel door, and with calm resolve, took Renuka's hand, leading her through the horde of zombies. With the added strength from the zombie virus, Karthik became unstoppable. He swung his iron hammer relentlessly, shielding Renuka and using his own body to fend off the attacking zombies. As several zombies swarmed him, Karthik grabbed a nearby manhole cover and broke free from their grasp. Now in a berserk rage, he hurled the cover, taking down a horde of zombies in one go. Even as he began to transform, his protective instincts for Renuka remained intact. With his last bit of humanity, Karthik managed to get Renuka to the hospital. He handed her his handgun, urging her to shoot him. Renuka, unable to bear the thought, hesitated. But when Karthik's eyes turned completely white and he fully transformed into a zombie, Renuka had no choice but to pull the trigger. In the end, doctors were able to develop a vaccine from Karthik's sister's blood, saving all of India.